Welcome to CBSE Class 9 Economics. In this video, we will learn the story of Palampur, the first chapter of economics. Through a simple village example, you'll understand how production takes place using land, labor, capital, and enterprise. Let's begin this complete and easy explanation of the chapter. The story of village Palampur. In this chapter, we will cover the following topics. First, an introduction to village Palampur, where we understand the basic features of the village and its economic activities. Next, the organization of production, focusing on how land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship are used in farming and other activities. These topics will help us understand how a village economy functions in real life. Welcome to Palampur. Palampur is an imaginary village created to help us understand how a rural economy works. In this village, farming is the main activity and the primary source of livelihood for the people. Most families depend on agriculture, using land, water, and simple technology to grow crops. Through the story of Palampur, we will learn how different activities are connected and how villagers earn their living. Palampur is not an isolated village. It is well connected with nearby villages and towns through a network of roads. These roads help people travel easily for work, education, and trade. Farmers use this connectivity to sell their crops in nearby markets. Good transport and communication links play an important role in the economic life of Palampur. Palampur is closely linked to nearby places. Raiganj is a big village located just 3 kilometers away from Palampur. An all-weather road connects Palampur to Raiganj, making travel easy throughout the year. This road further leads to the nearest small town, Shahpur. Because of this strong road connectivity, people of Palampur can access markets, schools, hospitals, and other facilities in nearby villages and towns. Different kinds of transport can be seen on the roads of Palampur. Traditional means like bullock carts and tongas are commonly used by villagers. These vehicles are slow but economical and well suited for short distances. They help farmers carry goods, crops, and other materials. Along with modern transport, these traditional means still play an important role in the daily life of the village. Along with traditional transport, modern vehicles are also commonly seen on the roads of Palampur. Tractors carry loads of farm produce such as sugar and other crops. Trucks transport goods to nearby towns and markets. Jeeps and motorcycles are used for faster travel and daily commuting. Together, these different modes of transport help connect Palampur with the outside world and support its economic activities. Palampur is a village with a diverse population. It has about 450 families living together. These families belong to different social groups and communities. People live in various types of houses, reflecting differences in occupation and income. Together, they form a closely connected village society where people depend on one another for their daily needs. In Palampur, houses vary in size and design. Some families live in quite large houses. These houses are made of bricks and finished with cement plastering. Such houses are strong and permanent in nature. They reflect better living conditions and higher income levels of some families in the village. In Palampur, not all families live under the same conditions. About one-third of the village population belongs to the scheduled castes. They live in one corner of the village. Their houses are much smaller in size. Some of these houses are made of mud and straw. This shows the social and economic differences that exist within the village. Most houses in Palampur have electric connections. Electricity is used for lighting homes after sunset. It also helps people use fans, televisions, and other basic appliances. Electric power supports activities like irrigation, small businesses, and household work. Thus, electricity plays an important role in improving the quality of life in the village. Electricity plays a vital role in the economy of Palampur. It powers the tube wells used for irrigation in the fields. This ensures a regular supply of water for growing crops. Electricity is also used in various small businesses within the village. Thus, electric power supports both agriculture and other economic activities in Palampur. Education is an important facility in Palampur. The village has two primary schools for young children. It also has one high school for higher classes. These schools help children gain knowledge and skills. Education plays a key role in shaping a better future for the people of Palampur. Palampur also has basic health facilities. There is a primary health center run by the government. People visit this center for medical checkups and treatment. It provides basic health care services to the villagers. Such facilities help improve the overall health and well-being of the people in Palampur. Along with government facilities, Palampur also has a private dispensary. People visit this dispensary for medical treatment when needed. It provides another option for healthcare in the village. Both government and private medical facilities help take care of the sick. Together, they support the health needs of the people of Palampur. Through this story, we will explore the different types of production activities carried out in the village. We will learn how agriculture, small businesses, and services are connected to one another. By studying Palampur, we can better understand how rural life functions and how production takes place in an economy. Farming is the main production activity in Palampur. Most people in the village depend on agriculture for their livelihood. Farmers cultivate crops on their fields using land, labor, and modern tools like tractors. The produce grown in these fields forms the base of the village economy. Thus, agriculture plays a central role in supporting life and economic activities in Palampur. Along with farming, Palampur has several other production activities. These activities are known as non-farm activities. Some people are engaged in small-scale manufacturing, such as making goods in workshops. Others earn their living through shopkeeping and local trade. Transport services help move people and goods from one place to another. Dairy farming is also an important activity, providing milk and other products. Together, these non-farm activities support the village economy and provide employment to many people. In Palampur, people are engaged in different types of production activities. Some activities are related to farming, such as crop cultivation and dairy. Other activities are non-farm activities, like small manufacturing, shopkeeping, and transport services. We will study both farm and non-farm activities in detail. Before that, let us first understand some general ideas about production. These basic concepts will help us better understand how production takes place in a village economy. Let us now move on to the organization of production. The aim of production is to produce goods and services that people need and want. To produce these goods and services, different resources are required. These resources include land, labor, physical capital, and human capital. How these resources are arranged and used together is known as the organization of production. Understanding this will help us see how production activities are carried out efficiently. To produce goods and services, we need to organize certain basic resources. There are four main resources required for production. These are land, labor, physical capital, and human capital. All these resources work together in the process of production. They are the basic requirements for producing goods and services. These resources are known as the factors of production. Now let us answer the following question. How can you say that Palampur is a well-developed village? First, an all-weather road connects the village to Raiganj and further to the nearest town of Shahpur. Many kinds of vehicles use this road. Second, Palampur houses 450 families. Third, electricity powers all the tube wells in the fields and is used in various types of small business. Fourth, Palampur has 2 primary schools and 1 high school. Fifth, there is a primary health center run by the government and 1 private dispensary where the sick are treated. In this lesson, we will discuss the 4 factors of production. These include land, labor, physical capital, and human capital. Finally, we will see how these factors work together in the village economy of Palampur. Let us now understand the factor of production called land. Land includes natural resources like water. Water is essential for agriculture, irrigation, and daily human activities. Land also includes forests. Forests provide timber, fuel, raw materials, and help maintain environmental balance. Land further includes minerals. Minerals are important natural resources used in industries and manufacturing. Thus, land as a factor of production includes all natural resources such as water, forests, and minerals. Let us now understand the factor of production called labor. Some production activities require highly educated and skilled workers. These workers use their knowledge, training, and expertise to perform specialized tasks. Other activities require workers who can do manual work. Such workers use physical effort in activities like construction, farming, and small manufacturing. In all production activities, workers provide labor for production. Thus, labor includes both mental and physical work done by people to produce goods and services. Let us now understand the factor of production called physical capital. Physical capital is the variety of inputs required at every stage during production. To understand physical capital better, let us see what items come under it. Physical capital is divided into 2 main types: fixed capital and working capital. Let us now understand fixed capital under physical capital. Fixed capital includes tools, machines, and buildings. These items can be used in production over many years. Tools and machines used in production range from simple tools to sophisticated machines. For example, a farmer's plow is a simple tool. It is used mainly in traditional agricultural activities. On the other hand, generators, turbines, and computers are examples of sophisticated machines. They are used in modern production processes and large-scale industries. Thus, fixed capital includes all those tools, machines, and buildings that help in production and are used repeatedly over a long period of time. Now let us understand working capital under physical capital. Production requires a variety of raw materials. These raw materials are used up during the process of production. For example, seeds, fertilizers, and pesticides are required by farmers for cultivation. These items are called working capital. Unlike tools, machines, and buildings, working capital gets used up in production. Money is also an important part of working capital. Money is always required during production to make payments and buy necessary items. Raw materials and money in hand together are known as working capital. Now let us understand the role of human capital in production. Human capital is the knowledge and enterprise required to put together land, labor, and capital. It brings land, labor, and physical capital together. Land, labor, and capital cannot produce goods and services on their own. Human capital helps to produce output. The output can be either sold in the market or used by the person producing it. Thus, human capital plays a crucial role in the organization of production. Let us now answer an important question from this chapter. State any 4 requirements needed for production of goods and services. Answer. First, land and other natural resources such as water, minerals and forests are required for the production of goods and services. Second, labor is needed to carry out production activities. This includes both manual labor and highly skilled or educated workers. Third, physical capital is required. It includes fixed capital like machines, tools and buildings which can be used repeatedly, and working capital which is used up during production. Fourth, human capital is essential. It refers to the knowledge and enterprise required to organize land, labor, and capital to produce the final output. In this section, we will focus on the features of land. Specifically, we will learn about multiple cropping. Farming in Palampur. Since 1960, in Palampur, there has been no expansion in the land area under cultivation. This means that the total land available for farming has remained the same over the years. Land is fixed. This is because there is no further scope to bring new land under cultivation, as almost all available land is already being used for farming. Conversion of waste land into cultivable land. In Palampur, although land is largely fixed, some waste lands have been converted into cultivable land. This was done by improving soil quality, leveling land, and providing irrigation facilities. However, such conversion is limited, and therefore the overall scope to increase land under cultivation remains very small. Farming as the main occupation in Palampur. Farming is the main production activity in Palampur. Most people depend on agriculture for their livelihood, and land is mainly used for growing crops. Since land is fixed, farmers focus on better use of the available land to increase production and meet their needs. Dependence on farming in Palampur. About 75% of the working population in Palampur depends on farming for their livelihood. This shows that agriculture is the main source of income and employment in the village. Since land is fixed and most people rely on farming, efficient use of land becomes very important to support the large population dependent on agriculture. Types of people dependent on farming. The people who depend on farming in Palampur may be farmers or farm laborers. Farmers usually own or lease land and cultivate crops on it. Farm laborers work on others' fields and earn wages for their work. Both groups depend on agriculture for their livelihood, showing how important farming is in Palampur. Well-being depends on farm production. The well-being of the people in Palampur is closely linked to production on the farms. If farm production is good, people earn better incomes, have enough food, and can meet their daily needs. However, if production is low due to poor rainfall or other problems, their livelihood and living conditions are affected. Growing more from the same land. Since land is fixed in Palampur, farmers try to increase production from the same piece of land. They do this mainly through multiple cropping and modern farming methods. Multiple cropping means growing more than one crop on the same field in a year. Modern farming methods include the use of better seeds, fertilizers, irrigation, and machinery. By using these methods, farmers are able to produce more crops from the same amount of land. Multiple cropping in Palampur using the same land efficiently. In Palampur, farmers practice multiple cropping to grow more from the same piece of land throughout the year. From June to September, crops like jowar and bajra are cultivated. These crops are mainly used as cattle feed, which supports livestock along with farming. From October to December, farmers grow potatoes on the same land after the first crop is harvested. Then, from December to March, wheat is cultivated. The surplus wheat produced is sold in the market at Raiganj, helping farmers earn income. On some parts of the land, sugarcane is also cultivated. Sugarcane is processed into jaggery and sold to traders in Shahpur. Thus, by growing different crops in different seasons on the same land, farmers in Palampur increase production and make better use of their limited land resources. Next, we will discuss the features of land with a focus on modern farming. Now, we will learn about modern farming methods. Modern farming methods and irrigation in Palampur. Electricity came early to Palampur. This brought a major change and transformed the entire system of irrigation. Earlier, farmers used Persian wheels to draw water from wells and irrigate small fields. Because of a well-developed system of irrigation, farmers in Palampur are able to grow 3 different crops in a year using modern farming methods. Expansion of irrigation through tube wells in Palampur. People first noticed that electric run tube wells could irrigate much larger areas of land more effectively. Following this, the government installed the first few tube wells in Palampur. Soon after, farmers also began setting up their own private tube wells. As a result, by the mid-1970s, the entire cultivated area of about 200 hectares came under irrigation. Traditional farming methods in Palampur before the Green Revolution. Till the mid-1960s, the seeds used in cultivation were traditional and gave relatively low yields. In 1965 to 66, wheat production using these traditional seeds was about 1,300 kilograms per hectare. These traditional seeds required less irrigation. Farmers mainly used cow dung and other natural manure as fertilizers. All these inputs were easily available to farmers and they did not need to buy them. Modern farming methods, HYV seeds. Let us now understand modern farming methods, especially HYV seeds. HYV stands for high-yielding variety. These are specially developed seeds that produce more grain from each plant compared to traditional seeds. Earlier, traditional seeds gave low yields. With the use of HYV seeds, farmers were able to harvest a much larger quantity of crops from the same land. As a result, food production increased greatly. For example, in 1970 to 71, the use of HYV seeds raised wheat production in India to around 3,200 kilograms per hectare. Green Revolution and modern farming in Palampur. In the late 1960s, farmers in Palampur adopted a combination of modern farming methods, which led to the success of the Green Revolution. Modern farming methods used in Palampur. In Palampur, farmers learned how to grow more from the same land by using modern farming methods. These methods include the use of HYV seeds, which means high-yielding variety seeds. HYV seeds produce much more grain from a single plant compared to traditional seeds. Farmers also use chemical fertilizers to increase soil nutrients and pesticides to protect crops from pests. Farm machinery, such as tractors, helps in faster plowing and sowing, and it runs on diesel. A strong irrigation system supports all these methods. Water is supplied through dams, canals, and pump sets, many of which work using electricity. Together, these modern inputs helped Palampur farmers increase production and achieve better yields from the same land. The question is, what are the different ways of increasing production on the same piece of land? Use examples to explain. The answer is, production on the same piece of land can be increased by using multiple cropping and modern farming methods. Now, let us understand the points one by one. First, multiple cropping. This means growing more than one crop on the same piece of land in a year. For example, farmers may grow wheat in the winter season and potatoes or jowar in another season on the same field. Second, use of modern farming methods. Modern farming methods help to increase the yield per hectare. Farmers use machines like tractors and threshers to save time and labor. Third, farmers install tube wells for irrigation and use HYV seeds, which means high-yielding variety seeds. They also use chemical fertilizers and pesticides to improve crop production. Thus, by using multiple cropping and modern farming methods, farmers are able to increase production from the same piece of land. Next, we will discuss two important aspects related to land in Palampur: land as a non-renewable resource and the unequal distribution of land. Land as a non-renewable resource. Land is a natural resource and it is limited in nature. Since land cannot be easily replaced once it is damaged or lost, it is considered a non-renewable resource. Therefore, it is very important to use land carefully and responsibly. Green Revolution and land. The Green Revolution helped farmers grow more crops by using high-yield seeds, chemical fertilizers, and pesticides. However, over time, excessive use of chemical fertilizers has reduced the natural nutrients in the soil. Because of this, soil fertility has decreased. The land becomes less productive, and farmers need to use even more fertilizers to get good yields. So, while the Green Revolution increased production, it also caused long-term damage to land, showing that land must be conserved and used sustainably. Overuse of groundwater and its impact on land. Continuous use of groundwater through tubewell irrigation has led to a serious problem. Over time, excessive extraction of water has lowered the water table below the ground, making groundwater scarce and affecting sustainable farming. Unequal distribution of land in Palampur. In Palampur, Land is not distributed equally among all families. There are a total of 450 families living in the village. Out of these, 240 families are small farmers who own less than 2 hectares of land each. About 60 families are medium and large farmers, owning more than 2 hectares, and some even over 10 hectares of land. At the same time, 150 families in Palampur are landless. Most of these landless families belong to the Dalit community and do not have land for cultivation. So, even though many people are engaged in agriculture, not everyone in Palampur has sufficient land to farm, which clearly shows the unequal distribution of land in the village. Duration of employment of farm laborers. The duration of employment of farm laborers is not the same everywhere, it varies from case to case. A farm laborer may be employed on a daily basis, only for a particular farm activity, or sometimes for the entire year, depending on the needs of the farmer. Migration of labor. In Palampur, many laborers migrate to nearby villages, towns, and cities in search of work. This migration happens because regular and sufficient employment is not always available in the village. Non-farm activities in the village. Some labor in Palampur has moved into the non-farm sector. They now work in activities like small shops, dairy farming, transportation, and construction within the village. In this section, we will discuss the situation of landless farm laborers and understand it through the case study of Dala and Ramkali. Let us now understand the situation of landless farm laborers through the case study of Dala and Ramkali. Case study: Dala situation of a landless farm laborer. Dala is a landless farm laborer who works on daily wages in Palampur. There is heavy competition for work among farm laborers in the village, so many people agree to work for lower wages. Although the government has fixed the minimum wage for a farm laborer at 300 rupees per day, Dala gets only 160 rupees. Dala and Ramkali are among the poorest people in the village of Palampur. Dala is a landless farm laborer who works on daily wages and struggles to earn enough for his family. There is heavy competition for work in the village, so laborers often agree to work for very low wages. Even though the government has fixed minimum wages, Dala earns much less than that. Dala shares his problems with Ramkali, who is also a farm laborer and faces similar difficulties. Dala: it is difficult to find work these days. Only the large farmers hire us. And that too for a very limited number of days. Ramkali: Ghanshyam, the large farmer, has just bought a harvester. So we are going to get even less work during the harvest season this year. Last year I worked for less than 5 months in the whole year. Dala: we have tractors for ploughing, harvesters for harvesting, and threshers for threshing. Even for removing weeds, some farmers spray weedicides. Ramkali: this year I will have to look for work in the brickmaking unit in Raiganj. Dala: I owe the local moneylender 2000 rupees. Last summer, I had to borrow ours. 1000 because there was no work available in the fields. I often wonder how I will ever repay this debt. I hardly earn enough money to afford even to proper meals a day. Ramkali: my situation is not much better than before. Because of past debts, moneylenders now refuse to give me any loan. Landless laborers are exploited in our villages. Capital and small farmers case study of Savita. In this section, we will understand the role of capital in farming. We will focus on small farmers and learn about their situation through a case study of Savita. Now let us understand the role of capital in farming. Capital means the different inputs required at every stage of production. These include tractors, seeds, fertilizers, and money. Modern farming methods need a large amount of capital. Small farmers like Savita often do not have enough money to buy these inputs. So, they depend on loans to carry out farming activities. Let us now look at small farmers in Palampur. Small farmers own very small pieces of land. They make up about 44.60% of the total farmers in Palampur. Because their land holding is small, their income is also limited. As a result, small farmers find it difficult to arrange capital. They often struggle to buy seeds, fertilizers, or modern tools for farming. Many small farmers depend on loans to continue farming. Small farmers in Palampur face serious problems related to capital. Their production is low because they cultivate very small plots of land. From whatever they produce, a large part is kept aside to meet their family's daily needs. Because of this, small farmers do not have any surplus left. Without surplus, they are unable to save money or invest in farming. As a result, arranging capital for seeds, fertilizers, or modern tools becomes very difficult for them. Since small farmers do not have enough savings, they need capital to continue farming. To arrange this capital, they usually borrow money. They borrow from large farmers, village moneylenders, or traders who supply seeds, fertilizers, and other inputs. This borrowed money is then used to buy the necessary inputs for cultivation. However, borrowing often puts small farmers under pressure as they have to repay loans with interest. Small farmers often borrow money to meet their farming needs. However, the rate of interest charged by moneylenders is very high. Because of this high interest, small farmers face great stress while repaying their loans. Many times, they remain trapped in debt for several years. Small farmer, Savita. Savita is a small farmer. She plans to cultivate wheat on her 1 hectare of land. Savita is a small farmer. To grow crops, land alone is not enough. She needs capital at every stage of farming. She needs capital for the following reasons. 1. She needs seeds to sow the crop. 2. She needs fertilizers and pesticides to help crops grow well and protect them from pests. 3. She needs money, cash, to buy water for irrigation. 4. She needs money to repair farm tools and instruments, such as pumps and pipes. So, besides land and labor, capital is very important for farming. Without enough money, a small farmer like Savita finds it difficult to manage farming properly. She estimates that the working capital itself would cost a minimum of Rs 3,000. She doesn't have the money, so she decides to borrow from Tejpal Singh, a large farmer. Tejpal Singh agrees to give Savita the loan at an interest rate of 24% for 4 months, which is a very high interest rate. Savita also has to promise to work on his field as a farm laborer during the harvest season at Rs 100 per day. Savita knows that she will have to work very hard to complete harvesting on her own field and then work as a farm laborer for Tejpal Singh. The harvest time is a very busy time. Savita agrees to these tough conditions as she knows getting a loan is difficult for a small farmer. Now let us understand capital in farming for medium and large farmers. Medium and large farmers. Medium and large farmers have large land holdings. Because of this, they can use more resources and manage farming on a bigger scale. So they have their own savings from the sale of surplus farm products. These savings are then used as capital for farming activities. Medium and large farmers have large land. So they have their own savings from the sale of surplus farm products, which they use as capital. They set up shops. They buy working capital for farming like seeds, fertilizers, and pesticides. Another part is used to buy fixed capital like tractors, cattle, or trucks. A part of their earning is saved in the bank. They supply surplus farm products to the market and earn. Large farmer, Tejpal Singh. Tejpal Singh, the large farmer, has a surplus of 350 quintals of wheat from all his lands. He sells the surplus wheat at the Raiganj market and earns good income. What does Tejpal Singh do with his earnings? Last year, Tejpal Singh had put most of the money in his bank account. Later he used the savings for lending to farmers like Savita who were in need of a loan. He also used the savings to arrange for the working capital for farming in the next season. This year Tejpal Singh plans to use his earnings to buy another tractor. Another tractor would increase his fixed capital. How do the medium and large farmers obtain capital for farming? How is it different from the small farmers? The answer is as follows. First point. Medium and large farmers have their own savings from farming. So, they are able to arrange the required capital on their own. Second point. In contrast, small farmers have to borrow money to arrange capital. They borrow from large farmers, village moneylenders, or traders who supply inputs for cultivation. The rate of interest on such loans is very high, and they face great difficulty in repaying the loans. Distinguish between land and capital by stating points of distinction. The answer is as follows. First point. Land, air, and water are natural resources. Capital is a man-made resource. Second point. Land is a passive factor of production. It requires human effort to make it a productive resource. Capital is an active factor of production. It includes man-made inputs that actively help in increasing production. Third point. No activity can take place in the absence of land. It is the basis of all human activities. Capital is essential for better growth, but it needs land for its existence and to act upon. Now let us move on to another important part of the story of village Palampur. Apart from farming, people in Palampur are also engaged in non-farm activities. Two important non-farm activities are dairy and small-scale manufacturing. These activities provide additional sources of income and employment to the villagers. Let us now understand the non-farm activities in Palampur. Not all people in Palampur depend only on farming for their livelihood. Many villagers earn their living through non-farm activities. One important non-farm activity is dairy. Families keep cows and buffaloes, sell milk, and earn a regular income. Another activity is small-scale manufacturing. Some people make items like tools, baskets, or handicrafts using simple machines at home or in small workshops. There are also shops in the village. Shopkeepers sell daily use items such as groceries, clothes, and household goods to villagers. Transport services are another non farm activity. People use tractors, carts, or vehicles to transport goods and people between villages and nearby towns. All these non farm activities help create employment and support the village economy of Palampur. Dairy is an important part of life for many families in Palampur. People look after their buffaloes carefully and feed them with jowar, bajra, and different kinds of grass. The milk they get is then sold in a nearby village, which helps the families earn a regular income. At present, less than 50 people are engaged in manufacturing in Palampur. These activities are small scale and use very simple methods of production. Most of the work is done at home or in the fields with the help of family members. Laborers from outside are rarely hired. In Palampur, apart from farming, many people are also involved in non-farm activities. One such important non-farm activity is small-scale manufacturing. Let us understand this with the example of Mishrilal. Mishrilal lives in Palampur and is engaged in small-scale manufacturing. He has purchased a mechanical sugarcane crushing machine that runs on electricity. This machine is set up right on his field. Earlier, sugarcane crushing was done with the help of bullocks. These days, people prefer to crush sugarcane using machines. Mishrilal does not depend only on sugarcane grown on his own field. He also buys sugarcane from other farmers in the village. This sugarcane is then processed to make jaggery. The jaggery is prepared using simple methods at the local level. By doing this, Mishrilal earns extra income. At the same time, nearby farmers also benefit because they get a market for their sugarcane. This shows how small-scale manufacturing supports rural livelihoods in Palampur. The jaggery is then sold to traders at Shahpur. In the process, Mishrilal makes a small profit. Mishrilal's farm is the land where all the work happens. He hires landless workers to help him, and they provide the labor. The sugarcane crushing machine he owns is his fixed capital because it is used again and again. The sugarcane and the money he uses daily for work are his working capital. Mishrilal himself is the human capital because his knowledge and effort make the business run. Now let us move to another non-farm activity in Palampur, that is shops. Apart from farming, many people earn their living by running small shops in the village. These shops sell daily use items and services needed by villagers. We will now understand this through a case study called Kareem's computer class. This example shows how a person can start a small business, provide services, and earn income without depending on farming. In Palampur, shops are an important non-farm activity. The traders here are shopkeepers. They buy different goods from wholesale markets in nearby cities. Then, they bring these goods to the village and sell them to the people. In this way, shopkeepers earn their income and also meet the daily needs of villagers. You will see small general stores selling food items like rice, wheat, sugar, tea, biscuits, and oil. These shops supply daily food needs to the villagers. You will also see small general stores selling non-food items. These include notebooks, pencils, pens, and cloth that people use in everyday life. In Palampur, traders run these shops. They buy goods in bulk from wholesale markets in nearby cities and sell them in the village. These shops are an important non-farm activity in Palampur. They make daily life easier for villagers and also provide income to shopkeepers. This is how shops support livelihoods in Palampur without being related to farming. In Palampur, some families live very close to the bus stand. To earn an income, they have opened small shops near their houses. These shops mainly sell eatables like snacks, tea, and other quick food items. People who are traveling or waiting for buses often buy from these shops. Such small shops are a part of non-farm activities in Palampur. They help families earn money without depending on farming. Kareem is a resident of Palampur who earns his living through a non-farm activity. Instead of farming, he has chosen a different path to support himself and his family. To do this, Kareem has opened a small computer class center in the village. In this center, he teaches basic computer skills to students and young people from nearby areas. In recent years, many students from Palampur have started going to college in the nearby town of Shahpur. Because of this, the need to learn basic computer skills has increased. Seeing this opportunity, Kareem decided to help the students. He opened a small computer class center in the village. Here, students learn how to use computers for studies and future jobs. There were two women in the village who had studied computer applications. Kareem saw this as a good opportunity, so he decided to give them jobs at his computer class. High school students have started joining the classes in large numbers. Because of this, Kareem's computer class is doing well and he earns a good income. This computer class is a non-farm activity in Palampur. Now let us look at another non-farm activity in Palampur. This activity is transport. We will understand it with the help of a case study of Kishora. Transport is an important non-farm activity in Palampur. Over the years, more people have started working in transport. You can see many types of vehicles used for transport here. These include rickshaws, tongas, jeeps, tractors, trucks, and bullock carts. They help people travel and also carry goods from one place to another. This is Kishora. Kishora is a farm laborer in Palampur. Kishora is like many other farm laborers in Palampur. He earns wages by working on farms. But the money he gets is not enough to meet all his family's needs. So, he starts looking for other ways to earn and support his family. A few years ago, Kishora decided to take a loan from the bank. He did this because his farm wages were not enough to run his household. The loan gave him some money to think about starting a new way of earning. This loan was given under a government program. The program was meant to help poor and landless families. It provided loans at a low interest rate so that people like Kishora could improve their lives and start a new source of income. With the loan money, Kishora bought one buffalo and two oxen. These animals helped him start work in transport. He could now earn more regularly and support his family better. Now Kishora sells the milk from his buffalo. This gives him an extra source of income. With this steady earning, he can take better care of his family. Kishora has attached a wooden cart to his oxen. He uses this cart to carry different goods from one place to another. By doing transport work, he earns extra money and supports his family better. Once a week, Kishora goes to the river Ganga. He brings back clay from the river for the potter. By doing this transport work regularly, he earns extra income and helps other villagers with their work. Sometimes, Kishora also goes to Shahpur. He carries loads of jaggery or other goods in his cart. By transporting these items, he earns extra money for his family and supports village trade. Every month, Kishora gets some transport work. Sometimes the work is small, sometimes it is more. But this regular work helps him earn extra income. It makes life a little easier for his family and gives him steady support beyond farm work. Because of this extra work, Kishora now earns more than he did a few years ago. His income has increased slowly over time. This helps him take better care of his family and live a more secure life. Question: what are the non-farm production activities taking place in Palampur? Make a short list. Answer: first, dairy farming is a common non-farm activity. Many families earn money by selling milk. Second, small-scale manufacturing is done at home or in the fields, such as making jaggery. Third, shopkeeping and trading is another activity. Shopkeepers buy goods from wholesale markets in cities and sell them in the village. Fourth, small shops near the bus stand sell eatables and other daily use items. Fifth, transportation services provide work to many people who carry passengers and goods using rickshaws, bullock carts, tractors, jeeps, and trucks. About 25% of the workers in Palampur are engaged in non-farm activities. This means they earn their living without doing farming. Non-farm activities usually need very little land, some amount of capital, money, tools, machines, and good connectivity of roads and markets. As roads, transport, and markets improve, non-farm activities increase, and more people get opportunities to earn a living apart from farming. As villages get better roads, transport facilities, and telephone connectivity, it becomes easier to buy raw materials and sell finished goods. Because of this, the opportunities for non-farm activities are increasing year by year. In the coming years, more people in Palampur are likely to earn their income from non-farm work, reducing complete dependence on farming. Thank you for watching. Keep learning and keep exploring. For worksheets, detailed notes, and test papers related to this topic, visit our website edushri.in. Website link is given in description box. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more learning videos. See you soon in the next lesson.